EPA requires all community water supplies to test for total coliform in their distribution systems. Total coliform bacteria act as an indicator of water quality. While coliform bacteria are usually not harmful, they can indicate if more harmful bacteria are present. The number of tests required is proportional to the total population of your community. Hence, Boston takes over 200 samples per month, while a smaller town like Milton only takes around 30. If more than 5% of these samples are positive, a system-level assessment or further investigation is needed. In addition, the coliform test includes both total coliform and E. coli analysis. If a sample is total coliform or E. coli positive, follow-up sampling is required. If a follow-up test to total coliform finds E. coli, or if E. coli is initially found and then total coliform is found, a boil water order would be issued. If you have never had a boil water order, then you should know that it is a very intensive process with notification, distribution of bottled water, and can result in an overall loss of faith in the tap water. In short, a boil water order is a tremendous amount of work, preparation, and late nights, and in general is bad news. Therefore, proper sampling is of the utmost importance as it helps eliminate false positives for coliform in your local water supply. In order to avoid any unnecessary coliform positives, or in worst case a boil water order, we have put together this video to show you proper technique for taking your routine total coliform samples. In order to take a coliform sample, it is important to bring the right equipment. The supplies you will need are a clean cooler, clean blue ice packs that have been frozen for at least 12 hours. Do not use ice cubes. Hype wipes, a Hawk MR or HR pocket colorimeter with total 25 ml size powder pillows and a glass sample cell. Scissors, latex or nitrile gloves. You should wear gloves from beginning to end. Kim wipes or paper towels, thermometer that reads in Celsius, a sampling cup or beaker, a timer, Colilert bottles with sodium thiosulfate. Make sure the bottles do not have cracks prior to leaving the lab where they are provided to samplers. A pen and a Sharpie, and a chain of custody form that has been supplied by MWRA Department of Lab Services. What makes an ideal sampling tap? Although many communities have already chosen their sampling taps, it is important to ask yourself these questions during each sampling event, as sampling conditions may change over time. Is the sampling location clean? Dirty sinks or sinks used for food preparation may introduce contamination into the sample. Is there a possibility of chemical contamination through chemical storage or chemical vapors? Is there a filter being used at this tap in the whole building? If so, you will not be sampling water that is representative of the main. Are the hot and cold water taps isolated? It is important to utilize a tap that only supplies cold water to avoid contamination from hot water heaters. Does the faucet leak at the valve stem? This can contaminate the sample if the stream of water meets the outside of the fixture. Is there an aerator? If so, is it easily removable? Grit in aerators can lead to sample contamination. Does the building have any backflow preventers or hot water tanks near plumbing lines? It is important to follow the piping throughout the sampling location to ensure that devices like these will not interfere with the quality of the sample. Check the basement or other areas and look for backflow preventers, hot water tanks near the plumbing lines, filters installed in a forgotten corner or in food prep areas. These would all be red flags for a bad location. If you find that the current sampling location may be a source of contamination, consider looking to see if there is a more suitable location in the building. Be sure to notify your supervisor before utilizing a new sampling tap. If necessary, use a new address with approval from DEP. Sampling procedure. After ensuring that the sink you have chosen will not introduce contamination into your sample, it is now time to begin. You will first start by cleaning and flushing the tap. Cleaning and flushing the tap. Wear gloves from beginning to end. Before turning on the tap, remove any items attached to the faucet along with the aerator. Take a hype wipe towel from its packet and swab the inside and outside of the tap, paying special attention to the threads of the tap. Note that the towel is soaked in a concentrated bleach solution. Make sure to wear gloves for safety. Next, turn on the cold water. Let it run for at least 5 minutes. In order to ensure that the tap is adequately flushed, you will need to measure the temperature of the water. Place a sampling cup under the flow of water. Put a thermometer, set to read Celsius, into the sampling cup and wait for the temperature to become stable. This is a good indicator that the water coming from the tap is representative of the main. Record this temperature on the chain of custody. Measuring the total chlorine residual. It is now time to measure the total chlorine residual using a Hawk pocket colorimeter set to the mid-range channel. Turn on the colorimeter by pressing the power button on the bottom middle of the instrument. Rinse the glass sample cell and its cap 3 times with tap water. Fill to the 10 ml line. In order to indicate a baseline to the colorimeter, you will need to zero the instrument. This is done by wiping down the sample cell with a paper towel or chem wipe and placing it in the sample port with the diamond facing towards you. The cell must be clean and dry. Once you have done this, you will place the colorimeter cover or light shield over the sample cell and press the blue 0 button. The instrument should read 0.00. Take the sample cell out of the sample chamber. After zeroing your instrument using the tap water, you can now add your powder pillow. Be sure to wear gloves when handling the powder pillow. Open a total chlorine 25 ml size powder pillow with a pair of scissors. Pour the contents of 1 powder pillow into the sample cell. Gently shake and avoid creating bubbles. Set your timer to 3 minutes. Read the sample 3 to 6 minutes after adding the powder pillow. Wipe down the sample cell with a paper towel or chem wipe and place it in the sample port with the diamond facing towards you. Place the colorimeter cover or light shield over the sample, then press the green read button. Record this value on the chain of custody. Be sure to rinse the sample cell thoroughly after use. Collecting the coliform sample. Now you are ready to take the coliform sample. If you are not already wearing gloves, don them now. First, reduce the flow to a smooth, pencil-width stream and run at least 1 minute longer. Use a Sharpie to label the cap of the ColAlert bottle. Make sure this label matches the site description on the chain of custody. Remove the cellophane from around the cap by first removing the perforated red tab, then removing the remaining cellophane. Carefully remove the cap, making sure to keep the threads facing downward at all times. Never set the cap down. Do not touch the threaded area on either the cap or the bottle. Fill the bottle to the neck, making sure to fill at least to the 100 ml line. Do not overfill the bottle, as this will rinse out the preservative. Immediately cap the bottle and place it into a cooler that contains a chilled ice pack. Note, if anything goes wrong with your sampling, for example a cap falling on the ground or a broken bottle, throw them away and start over. We hope this video was helpful in showing you the proper technique for taking a total coliform sample. While these samples are taken every week of every month, remember that using the proper technique is of the utmost importance and is crucial in avoiding any unnecessary total coliform hits. In addition, MWRA offers sampling training on a regular basis and when needed if there are new samplers. So contact the MWRA if you have new sampler staff who are interested in attending sampler training. If you have any questions on how to sample or on your TCR sampling plan, feel free to talk to anyone at the MWRA lab when you drop off your samples, and they will either find you the answer or find someone who can answer the question. Thanks for watching.